Hi, my name is Patrick Tarzi. I'm the head of Noble Science Academy Las Vegas. I train under Michael Forrest, Missouri. I'm based right here in Las Vegas. I started training HEMA in 2012 and then found one guy to train with in 2014 under Michael Forrest, and the rest is history.
Gotcha. So I actually fence around like that area as well in Reno, as you know. And although I'm not a Noble Science member now, I was a long time ago before Michael Forrest was there, right? And I know he runs a really good club. So you were competing also at this tournament. So could you explain what tournaments you were in first?
Sure. I competed in sidesword, open longsword, sword and buckler, and messer. I've only done sidesword so far last night.
Yeah, a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of competition. So how about you give us your thoughts on the sidesword tournament that you already completed yesterday?
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting idea to have basically SelfCall, and it promoted a lot of honorable fighting amongst the fighters, and it felt actually a lot friendlier, like me and the other fighters being able to get along pretty well, and then fist bump or whatever. It just felt really like a lot of camaraderie, a lot of brotherhood going on.
Yeah, for sure. I heard some complaints that some people weren't self-calling adequately. Did you experience anything like that at the tournament?
No, I felt like everyone was very honorable. Very honorable. Yeah, I know.
Okay. Yeah,
that's good. Lucky.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I had a pretty good time too, as well. So for your future tournaments, you have longsword. That's the first one, right? So is there anyone that you saw that you're worried about, or maybe you didn't, but is there any kind of thoughts you have in your head about the tournament upcoming?
Oh yeah, longsword I think is going to be really awesome. I think that Kirsten Meredith and as well as myself, I think we both have similar goals as far as force control and preventing bludgeoning. We just want people to fence really cleanly and with a lot of technique, and that's why I'm really excited about how longsword is going to look this year.
So do you know any of the fencers competing in it at all?
Oh, there's a huge amount of fencers competing in open longsword. I have 7 of my club alone in Las Vegas is competing in open longsword, so it's going to be huge.
Wow. Any? You don't have to, but do you have any favorites for the tournament?
Any favorites for the tournament? My favorites is anyone who's this is their first tournament for. That's it. If it's your first time coming out to longsword, you're my favorite. The first time you put yourself out there, you're really brave and you're better than anyone else who's just sitting at home. So you're my favorite.
Word.
Yeah.
Nice. So how about your upcoming tournaments, like the ones you're about to do later on, in this weekend?
Sure. I'm fencing in finals in sidesword this weekend, and then I think somewhere in the midst of that there's sword and buckler and messer. Messer I think is going to be super interesting with how much grappling it looks like it's going to be involved. Control is highly rewarded. Yeah. It makes me excited but also worried because I'm not the biggest guy in the world, so some huge guy is going to come crushing me. We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like some of those tournaments, they definitely... You get a better position if you're heavier and taller, right? Yeah. Because you can get on top of the person and you can get the higher point target like the head, right? With control, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're shorter and especially if you're weaker, it's really hard to contest that control if they muscle you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not I'm pretty marginally tall and strong, but I'm not strong enough for the huge guys. Especially I saw some guy from Sweden at last SelfCall, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to grapple that guy. So
yeah, huge dudes.
Huge dudes from Sweden. Huge dudes from Sweden.
Big guy in Sweden's a huge guy here for sure. Besides yourself, of course. Anyone any favorites in messer, or basically same story as before?
Any favorites? I actually haven't looked at the messer list, to be honest.
Okay, so we'll just say you for now.
For me for now.
Okay.
And I'm doing sword and buckler. Sword and buckler is going to be super interesting. I've trained a lot of going for leg strike, so hopefully that will come through. But I have this feeling everyone else is going to do the same thing too. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So real quick, since sword and buckler is the nearest one, that one's actually later this evening. Could you describe the source that you practice out of?
Sure. So the same thing. It's the same one I do for sidesword. I practice from Marozzo and Manciolino, so Bolognese sources primarily. I started with 133. When I started Sword and Buckler in 2015. I started with 133, and I eventually decided to shift over to Bolognese. I found it more fitting for my style. All the wrapping strikes and feints and leg strikes, the high-low game, I find is way more fitting for me personally than 133.
Gotcha. And then how about so along with that, anything with your personal style that you think if you could describe that in any way?
Yeah, it's the same style that I implemented sidesword that somehow got me to finals. Is just playing high-low game. I'll strike or provoke high, or I'll parry high, and then provoke a head strike and just take leg or torso. Is pretty much primarily what I do in sidesword, whether it's with a buckler or without a buckler.
Gotcha. And it's a good game. You got really far, and you
Thank you.
you did so good. I remember.
Thanks, bro.
Any last things you want to say?
What really has shocked me about this event in particular is how kind and brotherly everyone has been at this event. In particular, this one, I've only made friend after friend, including you, at this event, and I really like that, and I hope the human community can keep that energy up.
Yeah. I've had the same experience. Been very nice so far. It's been only one day.
Yeah.
So I don't want to keep Patrick for too long because he's got a lot to do today. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much.